In the headlines tonight, lots more needs to be done to ensure citizens get benefits from Ethiopia's economy. A peace effort for the Russia-Ukraine conflict would have African leaders travel to Moscow. Good evening to you all. A very warm welcome to ETV News. I'm Grum Tariku. Ministers of Development and Plan and Finance indicated a lot more needs to be done to benefit citizens from Ethiopia's economy. In order to achieve more and benefit majority of Ethiopians, a three-year plan is being designed. The ministers indicated that tackling inflation has become a major challenge of the economy. Daniel Kasaun has more on this.
Recently, the International Monetary Fund (IMF) has projected that the size of Kenya's economy will overtake that of Angola this year, even as Ethiopia stretches its lead. In its latest World Economic Outlook, the IMF says Angola's gross domestic product will shrink during the period, allowing Kenya, whose economy is expected to grow by 5.3%, to overtake it and perch itself as the fourth spot behind Ethiopia. However, Ethiopia, which the IMF has projected would overtake Kenya to become Eastern Africa's largest economy, is now expected to overtake both Angola and Kenya. This has been well recognized by the government of Ethiopia, and many more interventions are put in place to achieve more and benefit citizens at all levels. Members of the ministerial government officials who are evaluating the quarterly performance of the federal institutions indicated a lot more needs to be done to benefit citizens from the Ethiopia's economy.
The
government is now drafting 3 years plan per its 10 years growth and development plan in line with its transformation agenda. Our major problem is to have the upper hand over inflation. It has to be reduced to single digits. The economy, which is not immune from lots of challenges, is surviving with remarkable achievements. But challenges are increasing from time to time, and revised interventions must be followed up to avert the problems.
The Finance Minister Ahmed Shide also reiterated the COVID-19 pandemic and the 2 years war were major obstacles of Ethiopia's economy. Nevertheless, the posture of the economy was not deformed.
Ethiopia's economy majorly incurred devastating challenges from the COVID-19 and from the 2 years war in the northern part of the country. However, the diagnosis made by the government of Ethiopia per the transformation plan helped to tackle the problems. In the current scenario, we are eyeing at registering better achievements. The evaluation we are doing now helps us as a springboard to leap forward.
The IMF revised its earlier forecast on Ethiopia's GDP in 2023 from $126 billion to $156 billion, stretching its newfound lead over Kenya.
The Ministry of Agriculture disclosed that more than 7 billion tree seedlings have been prepared to be planted under the Green Legacy program for the upcoming rainy season in Ethiopia. In the past 4 consecutive rainy seasons, 25 billion saplings have been planted under the Green Legacy program initiated by Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. During the last rainy season, 7.1 billion tree seedlings covering 1.8 hectares of land planted, which according to the ministry was the best performance of its previous rounds of plantations. According to the ministry, 93% of the total planted saplings in the past year's rainy season received care and 88.7% of those survived. For the upcoming rainy season, the ministry stated that it has prepared to plant more than 7 billion saplings under the Green Legacy initiative.
We are here at Wendoganet, which is 24 kilometers away from the capital, Hawassa city. This is the right place where the natural spring water flows.
The African Union Health, Humanitarian Affairs and Social Development Commissioner announced that it will focus on recurrent challenges to improve the humanitarian situation in the continent. According to the Commissioner, there are still unresolved threats on the continent, including violence, climate change and terrorism. Goshumal So takes it from here.
The African Union has set various landmark goals like silencing the gun to end all wars, civil conflicts and gender-based violence. However, the continent continues grappling with problems like conflict, terrorism and climate change. Talking to Diplomatic Insight about the Union's 6-year journey, the Commissioner for Health, Humanitarian Affairs and Social Development said her commission will give due attention on conflict, climate change and terrorism to improve humanitarian situation on the continent.
Africa can bring African solution to African problem, because we have a problem in Africa with forced displaced person. We have a catastrophic humanitarian situation in this region. It's difficult when you go to Sahel with terrorist attacks. You will be sad, and when you go to Southern, you will have this climate forced displaced person, and we have now the root causes of at the top. Before we have a conflict, you can add that one now, climate change, and you will add the terrorist attacks and issues of governance, and these are some issues we need to find a solution.
Stressing the need of African solutions to African problems, the Commissioner said the Union should scale up its contribution to be self-reliant.
It wasn't enough. We said how we can find African solution. We have Malabo Summit with pledging conference. We could mobilize more than 174 million US dollar to bring African solution to African. It's not enough, but it's the starting point of our humanitarian agency, how we can operationalize it. We are operationalizing it to see Africans also, or African Union in the field, bringing its own contribution with other partners like UN.
The Commissioner also stated that supporting the youth is vital to realize the Africa we want.
I saw young generation, they are so dynamic. And they showed it with coronavirus. We saw many young people starting doing masks, gel, and so on and so. It's possible. And we don't have choice, because if you see some countries, in many countries, if you take 15 years old to 45, you will find 60% or 75% of young people. What can we do? What can we do for these people? We need to change the manner we are thinking. We don't have to think going to Europe will be the solution.
The Commissioner urged Member States to exert concerted efforts to realize the Union's ambitious plan.
President of South Sudan, Salva Kiir Mayardit, witnessed the signing ceremony of the construction of a highway connecting western Ethiopia with northeastern part of South Sudan. Ethiopia State Minister of Finance, Eyob Tekaling, and South Sudanese Finance Minister, Dear Tong Noor, signed the agreement. President Salva Kiir said the project would strengthen economic ties and enhance the free movement of people and goods in the Horn of Africa. Eyob described the project as a significant and historic development, and South Sudanese Finance Minister Dear Tong Noor said it would reduce the cost of doing business in the region. The signing ceremony recognized the initiative and commitments demonstrated by the heads of state of the two governments to boost bilateral cooperation between the two sisterly countries. The most anticipated construction of this road is expected to impact the economic activities of the sisterly countries, as well as play a pertinent role in cementing peace in parts of the region of both countries.
Welcome to the land of origins. Commercial Bank of Ethiopia is pleased to serve all your traveler banking needs. If you have money from any of these 16 countries, you can convert it to local currency by visiting our nearest branch. Alternatively, our secure Forex ATMs accept cash exchange, or if you prefer using your cards, we've partnered with Visa, MasterCard, and UnionPay so that you can withdraw cash from our local ATMs or make cashless transactions at thousands of local POS partners securely and with confidence. We are linked with more than 700 global banks through our direct SWIFT address, CBE Teta. We also work with 16 international money transfer agents, out of which Tune and World Remit enable you to make direct deposits into our savings and current accounts or our popular CBE Burr mobile wallet. Commercial Bank of Ethiopia, the bank you can always rely on.
ጎሽ ቁጥር እንደ ትላንትናው አይቻለቅ ይሄው ምን ነው ያሳያለው የማገገም የዱር እንስሳቱ መጀመሪያ ከነበሩበት ከተበታተኑበት ቦታ ስብስባቸው ምን ያህል እንደሆነ የሚያሳይ ነው ሁለተኛ ደግሞ ቦታዎቹ አጠቃላይ ተሽከርካሪ ሲተራመስ የነበረበት ቦታዎቹ በሙሉ ያገገሙበት መልሶ ያገገመበት ሳር ያኔ እንደዚህ አረንጓዴ የማናየው ሳር ሙሉ በሙሉ አረንጓዴ የሆነበት ቃጠሎም ጀምረናል ቃጠሎም እናካሄደባቸው ሜዳማ ፓርቶችን ደግሞ ስናይ በጣም ግሪን ሆኖ ስናይ በቃ ከፍተኛ ተስፋ እንዳለን ነው የሚያሳየው
ጎሽ በጣም ብዛት አለ ከዚህ በፊት በጣም ብዛት ነበረ የተለያዩ ማሽኖች ድምጽ አለ መኪና ድምጽ አለ ለዛ ነው ትንሽ እንኳን ቀንሶ ወደ ሌላ ቦታ እንዲሄድ ግማሽ ወደ ሱዳን ወጥቶ እንዲሄድ ያደረገ ያለ በጣም ብዙ ነበር ወመቢራ ፈርክ ያለው ቁጥር ስፍር የለም ነበር
Welcome back in. You are watching ETV News. The National Dialogue Commission said it is ready to screen participants at district level in the coming weeks. Briefing media, the National Dialogue Commission Commissioner Mesfin Araya said the screening will start in Gambela, Sidama, southwestern Ethiopia, Harar and Dredwa. Abdullah Shagri has the full story.
The Ethiopian National Dialogue Commission said it is finalizing activities to undertake the national dialogue to bring consensus on basic national issues and restore sustainable peace across the country. Briefing media, the National Dialogue Commission Commissioner Mesfin Araya said over 450 representatives will be screened at district level. The Commission added it has been rendering fruitful activities to hold effective and inclusive national dialogue across the country.
ኮሚሽኑ ተወካዮችን በወረዳዎች ከሚገኙ የህብረተሰብ ክፍሎች ማስመረጥ ያስፈልገው በአንድ ጊዜና በቀጥታ
The Commission needs to undertake the screening of participants in a bid to avoid difficulties to participate all community segments across the country. In addition, the Commission creates favorable conditions for every resident to represent energetic individuals that can voice public grievances. All Ethiopians and Ethiopian diaspora, as well as other states, are invited to participate in this process.
After screening 50 participants from every district, it's expected to identify national dialogue public agendas along with regional and federal representatives, the commissioner added.
በወረዳ የተለዩት እነዚህ የህብረተሰብ ክፍሎች ተወካዮች ወደ ክልል በመሄድ በክልል በተወከሉ የባለድርሻ አካላት
Every individual screened from every district will go and participate to identify dialogue agendas along with regional representatives. Similarly, the same is true at federal level. Other stakeholders from various community segments will also be screened to make the national dialogue effective and fruitful.
Commissioner Mesfin stresses that the Commission prioritizes to screen representatives from professional associations, women, young, marginalized groups, farmers, among others, to play their fair share in the dialogue process.
We still have around 460 million people who live below the poverty line.
Coronavirus showed us the necessity for us to count on ourselves.
The Sahel region has been filled with unrest. So I believe that creates a bit of a handful for the humanitarian sector.
We said silencing the guns. Why guns are not silent? We need all to work together.
We've seen different foreign bodies come in with different plans to deal with the social issues that you mentioned earlier.
They thought that if they go to Europe, it will be the panacea, they will have more opportunity, which is not true.
The armed conflicts, the refugee influx, and COVID-19 have shocked this generation.
I'm not a pessimist because I saw young generation, they are so dynamic.
Things that we ought to solve now in order for them to have less to deal with on their plate.
If we don't do it, who will come and do it for us? And we count on young generation to change the narrative to have a future of Africa, the Africa we want.
The Ethio-UAE Business Forum was held in Abu Dhabi aimed at promoting Ethiopia's investment potential. Ethiopia's Investment Commissioner Lelise Neme provided a detailed briefing on investment opportunities and favorable policies that are in place in Ethiopia. Ethiopia's ambassador to the UAE, Omar Hussein, and the Commissioner emphasized the readiness of the government to facilitate and support investors. The forum facilitated networking and strengthened bilateral ties, fostering optimism for investment in Ethiopia, according to the Ethiopian Investment Commission. Commissioner Lelise Neme has also held fruitful discussions with a group of key UAE investors about the opportunities and incentives offered to invest in Ethiopia. In the discussion themed business opportunities in Ethiopia, the Commissioner highlighted the numerous support frameworks for investors from licensing to full operation, as well as the reform initiatives carried out by the government to make business easier in Ethiopia.
Welcome to the land of origins. Commercial Bank of Ethiopia is pleased to serve all your traveler banking needs. If you have money from any of these 16 countries, you can convert it to local currency by visiting our nearest branch. Alternatively, our secure Forex ATMs accept cash exchange, or if you prefer using your cards, we've partnered with Visa, MasterCard, and UnionPay so that you can withdraw cash from our local ATMs or make cashless transactions at thousands of local POS partners securely and with confidence. We are linked with more than 700 global banks through our direct SWIFT address, CBE Theta. We also work with 16 international money transfer agents, out of which Tune and World Remit enable you to make direct deposits into our savings and current accounts or our popular CBE Burr mobile wallet. Commercial Bank of Ethiopia, the bank you can always rely on.
Tell me, how much do you like it here?
I like it here a lot, you know. It's got these little pigeonholes. You can look out who's coming. Yeah. Sometimes when you're on buses and traveling around and hassling for taxis, you lose the passion, the love for traveling. But then you come to places like this and you sit down and you're the only ones here. It's really magical.
And finally, Russia said African leaders would visit Moscow next month or early July under a peace initiative for the Russia-Ukraine conflict announced by South African President Cyril Ramaphosa. Ramaphosa said on Tuesday that Russian President Vladimir Putin and Ukraine President Vladimir Zelensky had each agreed to receive the six-member mission which will visit Moscow and Kiev. Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, speaking at a press conference with JJ Odongo, his counterpart from Uganda, one of the countries taking part in the initiative, said Russia took into consideration the concern and is planning to invite the leaders. Other members of the delegation unveiled by Ramaphosa are President of Republic of Congo, Egypt, Senegal, and Zambia. President Putin is always ready to talk to all our partners who are honestly interested in having stability in the world, Lavrov said. He added that Russia would look forward to seeing concrete initiatives put forward by the delegation. Over now to a quick reminder of the headlines. Lots more needs to be done to ensure citizens get benefits from Ethiopia's economy. A peace effort for the Russia-Ukraine conflict would have African leaders travel to Moscow. Well, you have been watching ETV News. Thanks for joining us and have a great time.